doing a little bit of reading on the whole Amazon story. So everyone knows Amazon.com is, yeah, you know, where we all go buy stuff. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Generally speaking, you have the option to buy something on Amazon. But when I was reading up on their story, what was interesting about it was like they haven't been profitable most of their life, most of the existence of the company. It wasn't until more recently that Bezos became one of the richest men in the world and the company was extremely profitable. But for a very, very, very long time, they were bleeding money through the process. But the ethos of Bezos was always, we're going to put the customer experience first. So he's just like, what does that mean? It means, well, if we have to get our own shipment facilities and our own fulfillment houses so that we can offer next day shipping, then we're going to do that. Even if it costs us ridiculous, untold amounts of money, we're going to do that. There were features on Amazon that will tell you when you have already bought an item. And people are like, well, don't do that, because if you tell them they've already bought the item, well, they're not going to buy another one if they're already searching for it. But Jeff's like, short term, that's gain for us. We'll make some money. Long term, that's a bad user experience if they buy two of the same thing that they already have. So they built in and spent all this money on software and algorithms to say, hey, you've only bought this 3 weeks ago. Are you sure you really need it? And then they built this other feature in Amazon that basically was, we are going to show you various options of the same product that you can get at various prices, even if that means you're not going to buy directly from Amazon. Instead, you're going to buy from one of their marketplace sellers, which means less money for Amazon. But Jeff was like, I want my customers to have the best user experience. Even if that means we don't make as much money, we understand that the future of this company is based on the loyalty of our customers. And this goes back to an old Jay Abraham understanding of that there's 3 ways you can increase revenue. One is to sell more of the thing that you're selling. Secondly, is to sell the people who already bought a higher ticketed thing. Or thirdly, to sell the people who have already bought more frequently, i.e. a membership or something like that. But the case in point is, the easiest ways to increase revenue is not with new client acquisition, but it's with same client customer loyalty. So it's with the people who've already been in your world to either be with you longer, be with you more regularly, or upgrade to other things. That is a far more effective way to increase revenue in a business than it is to new client customer acquisition, because new client acquisition is the most expensive form of revenue generation. So we use that to bring people into our world. And then once people are into our world, then we can have options to consider loyalty long-term, because those are the easiest ways to do it. So that's a side note, but I think it may be worth everyone in here considering. Is that getting a customer or client in on the front end is one thing, which is great. And I think everyone needs to consider how to do that. But it's, when does a runway run out with me? Is it after I build them the project? Is it after they finish my 12-week program? Is it after they, however you do this? And then considerations for us should be, well, what next then? After they finish the 12 weeks, the 8 weeks, the 6 months, after they figured out and done, what are their ways where I can continue to serve them, or at least recommend them or refer them to the next level, with what they do. That's a side note. But the theme kept coming up here with Amazon of user experience on a long-term scenario creates customer loyalty. And we're probably all byproducts of this. It used to be where when I wanted to buy something, in my poverty mindset, but whatever, when I wanted to buy something, I'd go on Amazon and then I'd go on the other website and I'd see like, okay, well, which one gets here faster? Which one's better price? Which one's this, that, the other. And then over time of just going and noticing on Amazon, it'll get here faster and less refund worries and less all this kind of stuff and great customer satisfaction. And they got the reviews. I just stopped looking at other places. And this is probably true for all of us who shop on Amazon. Now it's almost like Amazon is the first place we go when we want to buy anything. Not certain things, almost anything. And how do they do that is, again, with a good customer experience. So that was the foundation of things I've been reading about Amazon over the last week. And then yesterday, so I took my family on a road trip to Idaho. There's a theme park there called Silverwood, and we took the kids on all these rides and splash pads and water parks and all that other fun stuff. It was great. But then coming back, we saw this tea shop that was ranked 4.9 stars. My wife loved these different kind of teas. So we detoured 7 minutes to go to this tea shop, and we walked into the tea shop, and first and foremost, like, it's just one of these, like, come in, get a tea, leave, kind of like a Starbucksy type thing, but not as fancy. It's this one-off kind of place. And first and foremost, I mean, just the experience from when you walk in, they greet you and they say hi and how are you, and have these beautiful, like, open conversations. You're like, wow, this is impressive for someone who's just selling a $4 tea or whatever. And then, we go through the experience, and they have some very unique things on the menu that our family has never seen before. And so they start a conversation. They say, oh, are you local? Where are you coming from? I'm like, look, no, I'm in the middle of a 6-hour road trip here, but we detoured 7 minutes to come see you because you had some great ratings and some great flavors that my family wants to try. So he's like, great. Do you have any questions? And he's walking us through this whole thing. We're like, this is amazing. We pick our flavors, ready, drop the bill. It's like a $50 bill for various kind of teas. And I'm like, here's my credit card. I'm about to pay. He goes, I'm not allowed to take your money. I'm like, what? That's kind of weird. What do you mean you're not allowed to take my money? He goes, here's our store policy. Because you're new here and you don't know what you're trying, and this is the first time you trying these new drinks, you have to try the drinks first. And only after you love them can you pay for them. Because if you don't love them, we'll make you a different drink until you find one that you love, then you can pay for it. I'm like, oh, well, okay, let's do it. So they started making our drinks, and then he made a mistake with my drink. I only wanted X amount of sugar, and he put a little bit more. And he goes, I'm sorry, we made this drink wrong. I'm making you a new one. But in the meantime, do you want to try this just to see if you like the flavor profile? I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. I don't want you to waste it. I'll keep it. He goes, no. Our job is to make you happy. Tell me how you like the drink. And so I sipped it. I'm like, it's good. Still a little bit too much sugar. He goes, perfect. The other one's going to make far less sugar for you. We got it. So he delivers all of our drinks. Whole family tries them. Whole family loves them. Every drink that the kids picked and my wife picked and everybody picked, loved it. Awesome. I'm like, all right, it's time to pay. And then the owner who's making the drinks turns around and says, this one's on us. I'm like, I can't do that. I don't accept. Right. And he goes, no, this one is on us. I go, no, but you don't understand. I'm not a local here. The likelihood of me coming back here is very slim. It's a 6-hour drive from my house. It's off route from where we're going to the theme park. Like, I just let me pay for this, because if I was a local and you were offering me free drinks to bring me back here, I totally understand, but that's probably not going to happen. And he goes, he didn't ask for a review on social, but what do you think I did? I did a review on social. He didn't ask for anything. And he said, just promise me one thing. If sometime in the next 5 or 6 years, you decide to take the kids back to Silverwood and you do this road trip again, you'll stop on by and you'll pay for the drinks then. I'm like, oh my God, well, okay. And it just dawned on me, in light of everything that I was, reading about Amazon and whatnot, like, I was like, holy shit, like, what is going? This is a true long-term user experience play, because the likelihood of me, it's not a play like, oh, let me get you drinks on this because I know you're coming back next week. He knows I'm not coming back. He knows it's going to be years before I even consider coming back. He didn't ask for a Google review. He didn't ask for anything. He gave me $50 worth of drinks to a complete stranger who's absolutely in love with this drink place now, but I know I can never get it again, which is kind of like aggravating. I don't know if that was part of the process, but in light of everything that I was reading about Amazon, I'm like, what? And I'm still processing this because it just happened yesterday. I'm like, what can we in our respective industries send you drinks on Amazon? That'd be a perfect combination there. Fresh things. But what do we in our industry, like, what can we learn from this? And there's the obvious answers and there's the unobvious answers, right? There's a lot. And again, I came on here saying I don't have a framework. I have an experience that I experienced yesterday that I'm still processing in terms of the frameworks, but I thought maybe collectively for just 2 or 3 minutes, we can talk about what are the areas that we can take learnings from this and apply it into our business, if at all. And then we'll get into obviously people's questions and whatnot. But just from hearing the story and working together now, all of us, as to what can we collectively learn from either the Amazon story, this experience, or the combination of both. Like, what are people thinking on actual strategic, tactical, and practical ways that we can deploy this in our specific businesses? Or how would you deploy any of the learnings in your specific business?